Hello everyone, welcome to AI Anytime channel. In this video, we are going to develop an application that will help you, generate code and also the HTML pages directly from your design. So you have some design with you that can be, drawing or that can be also an image. Okay, so the input source is going to be an image that probably will have your design elements, and then the app will help you generate the HTML code for it, and also we're going to run that HTML code through a Streamlit component. So we're going to develop a Streamlit application using a large language model and also OCR technique. Okay, so that's what we are going to build in this video, guys. So let's do it. So if you see on my screen, I have an image, which is like it's drawn by hand, so it's like handwritten drawing, you can say it, and it says AI anytime, home, about, login, welcome to AI anytime. I just wanted to keep it simple, but you can have a complex design as well with multiple elements in that design. So now what we're going to do, as I said, we'll have an file uploader where you can upload this image, and we're going to use GPT 3.5 in this video, but I recommend using GPT 4 to get better responses or good enough web design that we are going to generate. But just to showcase the capability, GPT 3.5 also works fine. Okay, so this is what we are going to do. So to develop this app, we need something called OCR first, that will have detection and recognition model. Okay, that will look at your image and will extract all this text, and then we'll have a custom prompt defined that we will feed it to a large language model to generate the web design. So let's do that. So what I'm going to do, inside my folder, if you see, I'm going to go on my desktop. I'm going to go on my desktop and excuse me, and inside my project, and in this I'm going to go on design to website. I have nothing inside this. I'm just going to open this in terminal and immediately open in code.vs code, and here I'm going to activate my LangChain environment. So conda activate LangChain. So as I said, the first thing that we're going to need is an OCR engine. So let's use EasyOCR, an open source OCR library in Python, to help you extract text from images. That's what we're going to do. So let's define a file called ocr.py, and in this I'm going to import EasyOCR, pip install EasyOCR, simple to install EasyOCR. You can also build it from their GitHub source. Very famous library if you have ever worked with OCR, optical character recognition. If you also want to use something like, if you don't want to use EasyOCR, you can use Paddle OCR. Like that's from a, I don't know, from some Chinese repository on GitHub, but that works fine, to be honest. And you can use any one of EasyOCR or Paddle OCR. Okay, they are open source. So let's write a class. So I'm going to use a class called OCR processor or something. So let's define a class here, and we'll use this. I don't know why I call it function. We're going to use this class. Okay, so I'm writing this OCR engine separately because I'm also working on a couple of other end-to-end projects where I might need this modular code. So I'm going to use this modular code separately, right? So that's a good practice of writing code. So I'm going to use this separately. I'm going to have an init function, and okay, self, and let's just do like this, self.reader. It's going to have a language. So EasyOCR supports multiple languages, like for example Chinese, English, French, German, etc. You can pass that inside a function. So I'm going to use EasyOCR.reader, and I only need English, but you can pass different within the list. EN means English. I think CH means Chinese. So you can go through their GitHub repository. I'll give the link in description. Now we are done with this function. Let's write one more function called extract layout. So let's use that, guys. So extract layout, and in this I'm going to have self and that image, the input image. So let's have self image, and we'll have result. Okay, so result is nothing but self.reader.read, not layout, it should be read text or something. Read text, yeah, makes sense. So now we are having a variable called result that is that utilizes a read text function, and we are passing that image inside it. So now let's define an empty list. I'm gonna call it output list by now, and just an empty list. We'll later append this with the bounding boxes and the extracted text. Okay, that's what we're gonna do. So for original list, and that's the key in result. For original underscore list, and so let's have a values, and values equals coordinate for subject, not subject, sublist. Coordinate for sublist in original list, for coordinate in sublist. Code in sublist. Okay, that makes sense. And now we're gonna format it. So I'm also formatting it. I just need a dictionary kind of a thing, so I'm just need key and the values. This makes sense. I'm gonna append the output list now. So output list append formatted dict, and then just return this, guys. We are done with the class here, so return output list. That's it. So we're gonna use this class now, so we can use this class anywhere we want to use, in any other application as well. So what we are doing, we are utilizing OCR library, and we have written a class OCR processor and couple of functions, and just returning the output list with the extracted text and their respective values, which is your boundary boxes for verticals, right? That's what we're going to do here. So now let me just define a file called app.py, and in this app.py I'm going to build an Streamlit app. So the first thing that I need is import Streamlit as st, and now let's bring that OCR processor from that OCR file. So from OCR import OCR processor, and so we are utilizing that. Now we can utilize that function, guys, the function that we have written inside that file. From OCR import OCR processor. Now couple of LangChain thing. So LangChain, and the first thing I need is prompt. So I need prompt template. So import prompt template. I need also chain. So from langchain.chains import LLM chain. I'm gonna use LLM chain, and I also need a large language model, which is chat model in this case. So chat underscore models import chat OpenAI. I'm gonna use Azure, not Azure by the way, but I can use Azure GPT 3.5. But in this video, I'm gonna use GPT 3.5 Turbo. But as I said, I recommend using GPT-4, to build something like Figma GPT. A few months back we have seen how you can extend this further. You have a design and you can generate an entire web page out of it. Just maybe eating jobs of UI UX developers, but maybe that can also help to elevate their creativity, right? So now that I leave up to you guys. So from LangChain. But generative AI will take a hell lot of jobs. There is no doubt. People who say no, it will not take job, they will see very soon. So now from langchain.chains import LLM chain, chat models. What else we need? I don't think we need anything. So we need, let's have import OS for now, and import OS, and I need Streamlit components. So import Streamlit dot components. It has some versions, so I'm gonna rely on version 1 as components. Okay, and I think we also need to show that image. So let's have pillow for that. So from PIL import image, that's it. And we already have OS. I think we are good with this, guys. So we are okay with our import. Now the next thing we need is we have to set that environment key for OpenAI API key. So OpenAI underscore API key. And here I'm going to pass my API key. So I already have an API key pasted over here, and of course I'm going to delete it after the video. So let me just take it and paste. Now this is okay. os.envar, you can set it maybe directly in your terminal as set, and also depends what OS you are using. Export and set both works depending on what operating system you are on. Now we have said that. Let's write that OCR function. So I'm going to call it OCR func, and in that I'm going to pass an image. So let's call this image as an input parameter. Now define OCR function, and I'm going to write a variable called OCR processor to use that processor, and I'm just using that from the class we have written. OCR, and our image path is nothing but the input image as a parameter that we have passed. And let's have layout. So layout and OCR processor dot extract what was that, extract layout. So we're gonna use that function here, extract layout, and that's gonna pass our image path. That's it, and just return the layout. Here we go. So we are okay with our OCR thingy, guys. Now what I'm gonna do is we have to write a custom prompt template. So let's write a custom prompt template. So custom prompt template, I'm going to use it from my GitHub gist. I'm just going to use it. Let me just AI anytime GitHub. I'm gonna go inside my gist, and inside my gist I recently added a gist. So this is the prompt that I'm gonna use here. So let me just copy and come over here and just let me just paste it here, guys. Now what it says this is the layout of a handwriting website design, including text. Make an HTML model sans serif website that reflects this element and decide which CSS can be used to match. Now you can improve this prompt further. It says maybe you can put some roles and some expertise. You can assign some role to the large language model, which is GPT 3.5 Turbo in this case. Now you can write a better prompt to play with it and generate better responses. But so let me just now write the functions. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to use my function here. So let me just do that. So now define HTML generation, and inside this function, so this is our function where we're going to pass our layout, HTML generation, and the first thing is prompt. So let's use prompt template from LangChain that takes input variable, and template equals custom prompt template that we have defined, and then input variable. So input variables, not variable, input variables, which is layout in this case. So let's just pass layout here. We are okay with this. Now we have set our prompt also. Now after prompt, what I'm going to do is I'm going to have an LLM, and my LLM I'm just going to use chat OpenAI that we have imported. And in chat OpenAI, our model should be, so let's use model. I'm going to use GPT 3.5, and I'm going to use 16K model of Turbo, 16K variant of Turbo. Okay, so I have that access, so I'm using that, but I will recommend to use GPT-4 if you want to get what you want, try to be honest. Okay, and open source model will not work in this case. I have tried couple of open source model. Of course, I haven't tried Llama 270B, but a lot of 7B and 13B model for this particular use case or task, it doesn't work. Okay, so it does not make sense to put a lot of efforts there, right? So it's better to use paid models like Claude, Anthropic's Claude, Palm 2, or GPTX models, right? Because you have to get some decent accuracy for this particular use case. Now for temperature, maybe you can look at Star Chat or Star Coder. That might work good for this use case because that's very coding specific model. Now here I'm going to pass temperature as 0. So let's pass temperature as 0, and then I'm going to pass my max tokens. So my max tokens, I'm going to pass decent max tokens. Let's have 2096. Okay, just to have a check on the cost as well. Now my max token, you can also put some you should set some penalties, guys, just to see if LLM is responding for this use case. I am saying because for this use case, it's a very complex use case, right? You have a design, so you are using an OCR first. It will give you the text, the bounding boxes and text, and then we feed that to a model here, right? So it's a very complex use case, but let's try it out. So LLM chain, and in this chain I'm going to pass my LLM, which is LLM. So LLM equals LLM, and prompt equals prompt. Prompt equals prompt. That's it. Okay, so we are good with chain, guys. Now, so we have created our chain now, and after chain we're going to have an output where we're going to run this chain. I don't know how it became caps. Okay, output, and in this output I'm going to do chain.run. So let me just do that, chain.run, and layout equals layout. Okay, we don't need a max token, which already have set by default as 2096. Okay, and let's print the output in terminal just to track this. Now print output and then return output. So we are done with our OCR function, custom prompt template, and HTML generation file. Okay, now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna write couple of conditionals. Okay, so the first is if HTML. So let's see, if HTML not in session state. Okay, ht.session state. It's not a function, by the way. ht.session state. Then you let's define that ht.session state ht.session underscore state dot html, and should be nothing inside this. No, excuse me. And if image, so let's have it, because we're gonna have an image over there. So if image not in session state, then ht.session state and then image. Same goes for it. And now we're gonna write our image run function. So let's write a function. We're gonna run this image run html underscore code and html underscore code, and we're gonna use this layout. So the function, so OCR func, and inside this I'm gonna pass my image. So I have to pass an image inside this. That's what it's looking for. So we're gonna pass ht.session state and dot image. That's what we have to pass here. And now I'm gonna say, okay, if layout not equals, yes, if layout not equals, which is an empty string by now, empty list by now. Okay, and okay, then we're gonna generate an HTML code, and that HTML code we're gonna use that what's the function is HTML generation. So let's use HTML generation and just pass this layout. Okay, now this is for that. So now your session state, so ht.session state HTML becomes HTML code. Yes, this is right, because we are going to use an Streamlit component. So your image becomes not HTML code, it remains your image. And ht.session state dot image. Okay, this is cool. ht.session state dot image, and that. Now let's set the page config of the page of the Streamlit UI. Layout equals wide. So layout equals wide. You can set page icons, page title, etc, etc. I'm not going to do that. ht.set page config, and the next is let's have maybe a markdown kind of a thing. Okay, we're going to have this in a title. So I'm going to have an h1 style first, and excuse me, I'm going to have an h1 style, and in this h1 style equals, let's have a text align center, which write, and then give let's assign a color equals black. So this is black, excuse me, this is black, and that's it. And then I don't need font size. Okay, color equals black. I end this, and this become image. Not let's call this as design to website app or something like this. Okay, maybe you can change it. Okay, design to website app, and let's close this h1. So then we have to pass something called unsafe allow true. HTML equals true, and let me just do alt G here, true, and excuse me, it's a boolean value, true. Streamlit supports markdown, but you have to give that unsafe allow, you have to set that flag as true. Okay, this is fine. Now let's have couple of columns. So column 1, in the left hand side column, in column 1 we'll have an option to upload the image, excuse me, shared columns, and in that columns I'm gonna let's utilize let's give a gap set as medium. Give a medium gap, excuse me. Okay, now with column 1, so with col 1, and with col 1 we're gonna have an uploaded file. So let me just do an uploaded file. So with col 1 uploaded file, so let's call this uploaded file ht.file uploader, ht.file uploader, and in this I'm gonna pass enter your not enter, sorry, upload your design or something. Okay, upload your design. You can also do one thing, you can also pass accept multiple files equal true or something. You want to upload multiple files. Now st.file uploader, upload your design. I'm going to pass type equals JPEG, JPG, PNG, etc. You can do that. And let's have few of it. That's it. We are okay with the uploaded file. I'm gonna say okay. Let's have that. Okay, if uploaded file is not none, we're gonna have single file and we're not also saving it. So you can do uploaded file is not none, but if you have a folder where you save it and you have multiple files, better to have length of uploaded file greater than 0 to put that flag. So if uploaded file is not none, now I'm gonna have my image file name as a variable, and image file name I'm gonna call it uploaded file dot name. Okay, image file name. Now let's display that, guys. So ht.image, and I'm gonna pass uploaded file. I'm gonna pass uploaded file. You can give it a caption here, and my caption will be like your design. Okay, fine. That was a good rhyming. Your design, it's fine. And then use column width equals true. Use the entire column width. So it's gonna use the entire column width in the Streamlit UI in that column 1. Now we are okay with it, guys. So we're gonna have image equals image dot save or something. Image dot not save. We have to open that image. Okay, image dot open, and in that open I'm gonna pass this image file name. Now ht.session ht.session state dot image, and then I'm gonna pass image file and image underscore file name. Okay, we are okay with this. Now we're gonna have let's have a button here. Okay, that gonna let user hit that run or something, and let's keep on click something. Okay, on click, it's gonna on click, and I'm gonna call it image run. I'm gonna use that function. Okay, this function that you see. Okay, image run, and that's very good. With Streamlit has come up with this on click functionality earlier, few months, or I think few years back, right, when Streamlit was new. It was not there. Okay, if ht.session state dot image, not it's in HTML here, not equals, then this becomes this, and here we're gonna say okay, with ht dot, let's have an expander, and within that expander we're gonna have our code. So with ht.expander we're gonna say okay, see source code. If you wanna see the source code, the HTML code with CSS or whatever, right, we're gonna say we're gonna put this in ht.expander. I'm gonna call it ht.code, and in that ht.code we're gonna call it session state.html. Fantastic. I think I'm using Tabline, guys, as a coding assistant, but you can also use something else like Copilot or something. Okay, now with ht.container, let's call this container. I'm gonna call this container. Okay, so we have this container, and in this container we are going to basically use that component. So it has an HTML component, guys. Streamlit has an HTML component where you can pass that HTML, basically kind of an embed, okay, that we used to embed, right, or embedding iframes, right. ht.let, you can also, I think it has height and width. So let's set some height should be around 500-600, for example. Let's have 600, and then we're gonna have it also has scrolling, and scrolling is a boolean value which is false by default, so let's make this true. Okay, and I think we are done with this, guys. So now let's do one thing. Let me just check it out. So let me run this here. So here I'm gonna say Streamlit run app.py. So I am in this LangChain environment which has all the required libraries already installed, like OCR, LangChain, OpenAI, etc. But you can do that, I think. So, and if you need this requirements history, I would rather put that in my GitHub repository. And now once I hit enter, I assume that it will open a new tab here, you can see. And okay, now you can see we have something called design to website app. Okay, and it has something in the left hand side, upload an image. I think I should have kept it, but it's okay. The layout, maybe you can extend the layout. And in browse files, what I'm gonna do is, now you can see I have a hand written drawing, which is of like a simple, I don't know, I mean a very simple like a page where you have kind of a login page, okay, where you have home, about, login, and welcome to AI anytime, username, password, copyright, etc., etc. Right? Let's see if the model is able to pick any of these elements. And I'm not hoping that it will work 100%, because I mean I will recommend GPT-4 for this. I don't have GPT-4 access in this machine where I am using currently, and I don't have the access of. So unfortunately I don't have access at this moment, but I do have in other way. But if you see, I have a button called run, and we are expecting that the model is going to give us a set of code, HTML, CSS code or whatever, and it's also going to give us a design in this component, a Streamlit component. Let's see that. Now when I click on run, you can see it says running. The Streamlit app is running, and in background your model will run, the image run or HTML generation. Both of the functions will get executed. It will load the model from GPT 3.5 Turbo 16K variant, and it will show it over here, the design that we are looking for, with the set of code. And you can copy that code, and we'll see that. Okay, so let's have a look. And you can see we got something which might not be what exactly, but something very close, right? So you can see we have source code here, source code of the results, and in below we have a result. So if you see this result, handwriting website, I don't know where it got it for, but I think we have to write a better prompt, maybe custom prompt template, and make sure that it sticks with the image. Or I'm not sure, maybe we can also have a look at through an embedding approach, and create embedding of this image, and then the vectorizer, right? Probably. So maybe that might be a right approach, and let me know if you are doing something like that. I'll recommend that, to be honest. Right now it's just looking at the prompt, and it's based on the vectorizer, default vectorizer that it has. It's kind of generating the response. But what if we can generate embeddings of this image using sentence transformers? And once we have the embeddings, we feed it to like a context, and then we use some kind of, I don't know, through retrieval chain or something. We have to look at that. I don't know how is that going to help, but this is what we have got so far. We have the source code, and you can copy this source. You can see the code here. I don't know if it's copied. Let me see if it copied. So here I'm gonna just create a file called index.html. I don't know why it's not copying. Okay, it has been copied, and I'm going to just open with live server. Once I click open with live server, you can see it opens on 5500 port, right? Live server. And we got something. It does not have bootstrap or something. Maybe you have to, as I said, right, you have to feed that in a better way. But what we did, the idea is, the use case is very fascinating to think. Like we have used Figma, we have used Adobe, etc. Now just imagine you extend this application further. Maybe you can create a plugin. I assume there will be plugins. There are plugins. I don't know what Figma GPT does, but there are a lot of plugins and extensions available now that does a similar kind of job. But I hope you got the idea here, guys. You have an image, and then you generate a code for it, for that design in an HTML. Right now I think it's HTML. It also has some CSS like font family and something like that. Okay, and then it gives you this. We run this in a component, Streamlit component, and it looks good, to be honest. Maybe you can download that, keep an option to download the file, as index.html, and let me know if you are doing it. So that's all, that's all for this video, guys. The code will be available on the GitHub repository as usual, and if you like the content, please hit the like icon and share the video with your friends and to peer. If you have any thoughts or feedbacks, please let me know in the comment box. You can also reach out to me through my social channels, which is on YouTube banner. So that's all, guys. Thank you so much for watching. See you in the next one.